I'm not going to do the general tonight. I'm doing this one.
Okay, I'm going to start the live stream now because I'm trying something with YouTube.
If that's a request, I take
I'm not sure if it's going to work or not. So
I'll do the general next week. I haven't done that one in a while.
There you go.
That's another radio that's easy to carry out in one piece. So I don't have a lot of assembly out here. It's compact and easy to carry.
They get heavy too at times.
Oh, not compared to like a Browning or a Demco or any of these other damn radios I got to carry out half a dozen, 15, 20-pound pieces and put them together. One radio, microphone attached, put it down, hook up the power cord and the antenna, and I'm done.
That's it. Now, I damn near need a dolly just to get my Kenwood and move it around. But it's not no tuber either.
Well, before you use it, do you say hello, Dolly?
Yeah, as I unfold it. And I say, oh, pardon me.
Well, it's good to see this thing's working. I haven't checked this thing in a while either.
Look, if it sounds good over here, it's showing forward swing, so it's working.
Oh, as long as it's got hearable modulation, that's a good thing. Forward modulation depends on if I have it adjusted to this antenna properly, which I guess I do. I'm not going to mess with it anymore.
Sounds good here.
It's close enough for government work.
How's it going, Ed?
Still going. That's a good thing.
Wow, what kind of microphone is that?
Oh, this thing? PR40.
Oh, okay. I thought it might be like one of the electro voices or something like that. That thing sounds really good.
Oh, thank you. New radio.
Oh, it is?
Well, newish. I've had it for a while.
So is this a tuber or not?
No. This one has a nice little screen and a nice little effects with it all the time. What do you call it? A spectrum scope. There you go.
Oh, cool. So you can see all the raggediness in my transmission.
Actually, it looks pretty darn good.
Oh, really? It can't be next to that. That's got you've got the AM broadcast thing going on there. That sounds really good.
Well, I have to do a little adjusting with the EQ, but yeah, I'm having fun with it. I just figured it out how to do it on AM, so got to do some definitely twisting of the dials.
What are you using? Some kind of mic preamp EQ kind of thingy, or is that just the mic straight in?
No, I have an EQ 8-band. It's actually made by a Ukrainian, UR6QW.
Oh, I've heard of those.
That's easy for him to say.
There you go. Yeah, it works really well. It's powered by the radio, so all you have to do is plug it in, and it's powered on.
Oh, those things are powered like off one of the pins of the mic jack plug. Those aren't a separate power supply or something.
It just works right off the radio. No power supply needed.
Oh, I was wondering about that. I've seen them advertised in magazines and stuff, but I've never seen one in like real life.
OTR time.
Oop, I guess I better be quiet and let OTR go.
Yeah.
It goes with that spinning thing on the internet. So it's just trying to get cranked up here. I think the video is up and running. I think the audio stream might be up and running. hopefully the most important thing, 27085, is up and running. It sounds like it's doing well, and we were going to try a Facebook Live thing to do that, but it's basically impossible to do with the way I'm doing things. And it's set to work on your phone, and that's not how I'm doing this. I have a feeling that is probably not going to happen tonight. But the most important thing is that your old Tube Radio Network, the Saturday night place to be that has been on this frequency, 27085, Channel 11, for the last 35 years or so, is here and now. And we will continue with that, the purpose of which is to promote the use of 11-meter radio and maybe hand out a few items of interest, little tidbits of information and helpful hints on your tube radios tonight. The SWLs will be joining us in the roll call, and we'll see what kind of radios we can get checked in tonight. My name is Dennis, your net control operator for the evening. If you're joining us at ultituberadio.net and it's working, hello to you. And if you're watching the video, hello to you. And if you're at over-the-air RF, wherever that may be, in Central California or perhaps worldwide, if we get some skip conditions, hello to you. Starting off with our roll call. 00 is none other than the infamous Mr. JT, DD21, who was on old radio night tonight with the Courier Royale. Let me see if I can dial a little bit of him in here tonight.
Control on the back, but some radios, those don't have a modulation control, mic gain. Whenever these radios came out,
that is JT 00 in front of his Courier Royale, which was the radio of choice tonight for old radio night. Looking good, JT, and I have a feeling we might get a Courier Royale checking in tonight on the old Tube Radio Network. So we've got you, I think I saw you over on the streaming page. We've got you checked in for 00. SWL number 1, always checking in and saying keep it live and keep it real and get as many radio check-ins as possible, and we will try to do that tonight. SWL 2, Mr. OBP, who often waves a hand at the old Tube Radio Network page, waiting for him tonight. SWL number 3. SWL 4. SWL 5. SWL 6. And SWL 7, who I think is still out there sans the noise thing.
Yes, at the moment, free and clear of noise, thank goodness.
All right, good deal. Got you at least one check-in here on the page. Thanks for stopping by. And then we skip up to SWL 13. Yeah, I've got all my screens differentiated here to try and do the Facebook Live, which isn't happening. So I may go ahead and cancel that so I can get all my computer screens back here. SWL 14. SWL 15. SWL 16. Shortwave listener 17. SWL 18. SWL 19. SWL 20.
Number 20, I'm on time. How about that? 20, please check in 29 and 54, and the others should do it all by themselves. I'll be back later on, I hope. Okie doke. Take care, Dennis.
Okay, I didn't see that I should be proxying you in tonight, and that is because I should not, because you are live and direct. And hopefully you will be even more direct as we start checking in the tube radios. Thanks for stopping by, Harvey. From the Wasama Swamps, SWL21 checking in tonight again, and he was on, definitely was on the Courier Royale tonight. What did he say? It says, the Courier Royale, he calls it the Pimp. I don't know. If you're listening, JT, you may have to explain that one. But it was pimping pretty good tonight on the old radio night, driving it pretty well. SWL 22. I don't have all my normal screens here, but I will endeavor to make sure I am looking at the right items at the right time. SWL 23. And he is definitely on the West Coast. When you hear those skip stations saying they are from the West Coast, Mitch is, he's west and he's coasting tonight for sure. Here on the old Tube Radio Network, I see you there, Mitch, and we've got you checked in. I foregoed the Echo link tonight to see if I could do the Facebook thing, and that was just not a good thing all the way around. Facebook is not really set up to do streaming like we are doing here, so I've basically tied up my other system on that, but I will be scrapping that at some point here. Let's try SWL 24. SWL 25.
Hello, Dennis. Sounding good tonight. 25 checking in.
All right, I've managed not to blow up too many things here, and likewise, you're sounding good. And you will be sounding good on the Friday night net too when you get the the AM carrier uninserted in the lower sideband going.
Yeah, better note as the item of interest. Won't be here until May 10th, but oh well. But we have tried some other experiments. Yeah, they didn't fare too well. So anyway, Dennis, thank you for the relay on the text, and back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, your experimental frequency. Thanks for checking in. Let's see, DD21 explaining the Pimp. He says the Courier Royale has gold, silver, and purple. And back in the 70s, he says, those were the Pimp colors. I had a friend back in the 70s had some bowling shoes like that. And that's, I didn't think about that, but that's exactly what we used to call him. With his pimpy bowling shoes with all those colors. Actually, bowling shoes always looked like that. So what could I say? We are heading over to page 2 for SWL 27. And I'm supposed to check in Dwayne because I talked to him earlier this week on the handy talkie, and I think he's still doing the antenna things there. We are checking in, proxying in SWL 29, and then we are jumping over to SWL 31 from Hendersonville, Tennessee. Robert and Teresa, who are out there. If I go over to the proper page, I think I did see Hendersonville way up in the top row tonight. They are heading down towards the orchestra pit and the Jingle Singers to grab some refreshments, no doubt. Good to have you aboard tonight. Over to SWL 32. SWL 33, myself, Bozo Control, the Jingle Singers, who we have not heard tonight. Let me pause, and I think I've got my control set. Let's see if we've got the. It looks like the whole orchestra is there. Let me see if they're ready to go here.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by OTR. Brought to you by 27.085 megahertz. Brought to you by RADI. The Old Tube Radio Network.
Ah, there they are. In their Billy May Orchestra splendor. X4000 at the announcers, and reminding us all that we will be having some of those classic 11-meter tube radios checking in tonight after the roll call, the ones that were produced from 1958-59 to about 1978 and 79 when they just decided it should all be solid state. But we will be checking in some tonight, no doubt. Let's try SWL-34. SWL-35, Mr. Bill, who I think has the Red Monkey trailer up and running and ready to serve your 11-meter radio needs, antenna-wise, coax-wise, radio-wise, out in Cheyenne, Wyoming tonight. And he is definitely checking in if you're listening. Mr. Bill, I hope all is going well. We miss you out here. And I hope you're having a great time. I know you are. Out in Cheyenne. Let's try SWL-36. SWL-37.
Oh, SWL-37 now.
11-meter radio. Well, this is the daydreaming frequency. You can do that, but you were right on time, and so I will put the X in the square over.
Okay, I'll be back.
And we'll see what kind of radios we... And it's very possible that the YouTube stream is up. I'm not sure. Oh, no, it says your live video has ended, even though I told it not to end. And now that it's up and running, so much for that. It ain't going to work. YouTube, unless you wave a phone around, unless somebody has some ideas on how you can do it with the streaming, it doesn't work with this format. Thank you, Chris. We got you checked in. All right. Well, now that I'm not doing that, I can put a kibosh on that thing. Maybe. Or maybe not. Where are we going? SWL-38? SWL-39? Shortwave listener 40.
SWL-40 checking in from Chinatown.
Where it's not uptown, it's not downtown, it's Chinatown, and you are sounding good tonight.
And it's 85 degrees outside.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is here in the shack. Looks like it's 80. So we got 80 degrees in here with all the rack stuff starting to warm up the room as it was. I don't know if it made 90 degrees here today or not. So, but it's going to be a warm couple of next days. Let's try SWL-41. And that is Road Dog 507 out of New York, who is waving a hand from the beautiful Hudson Valley, and watching on the video stream. That at least this video stream is working. I know that one's working, but not so on the YouTube thing. Thanks for checking in. And looks like sunspots were 0 again, but there have been some openings coming and going. So consult your local listings for the skip land near you. Next is SWL-42. SWL-43. Shortwave listener 44. 44 live and direct over the air. Mr. 360, doing a 360 thing. Probably hearing you up on the west side, down there in Erlemart, and here in Midtown Fresno. Thanks for checking in. Over to SWL-45.
45. Hope I'm sounding better tonight. I raised my antenna.
Yeah, the S meter is good, and likewise You are. What did we used to say in the 70s? Wall-to-wall and sheet-top tall and 10-2 and 10-8 and 10... No, you're not 10-9. You're good.
Great. Thank you.
And this is the Old Tube Radio Network here in Central California. We'll be talking with the Tube Radio operators coming up shortly. Just taking a check to make sure everything is working. I want to say hello to who is out there. I thought I saw it. The screen is scrolling past so fast. Hello to X. Is it XYI? My screen is too small. I think it's XYI or XYL. It's in Ron over in Nineland. I'm listening in from Indiana on the video page. Warren Scott also waving a hand. And Richard reminds us to remember to wash our hands. I did many times today. Multiple times today. SWL 46. SWL 47.
Greetings from the Radio Lounge. Almost didn't make it in. Boy, I had a full day of shopping at River Park and Fashion Fair, and we just got done with dinner over at Pismo's. Yeah, that's the ticket. Pismo's. Anyways, greetings from the Radio Lounge.
Sounds good. Are you able to go inside, or is it a takeout thing?
That's a negative on everything. I was being facetious. Nothing's open, besides Fresno Ag.
All right. Well, Harvester's okay. I was going to say, you have found the magic something to do all those things. It's just kind of eerie going by the big shopping centers and seeing that there's parking. There's acres of parking. But try and get the open going on. All right, I've got you checked in. Your radio sounds awesome, and no doubt we will be talking about it a little bit later.
Thank you, sir.
Then we go over to SWL 48. And the station that sounds good, AM, FM, and SSB, SWL 49.
Hello, Dennis, and a big hello to the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 49er is checking in. Also like to send a big shout-out, a big hello, waving both hands to Mr. Road Dog there. It's been quite a few years since I've been able to key down with him, but glad he's able to check in and listen in the New York area online, kind of like I did when I was in Wisconsin. So I hope you guys are all having a fantastic evening, and we do appreciate the check-in, Dennis.
All right, thanks for being out there. I'm sure Road Dog heard you on one of the various audio streams with your marvelous sounding audio on AM here, the Old Tube Radio Network. We've got you checked in. Over to SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
Sounding good, Dave. You're in the micro milliwatted Midtown Mud Machine station, but you are doing fine into the audio stream tonight. Thanks for checking in. SWL 52. And November 9, X-Ray Yankee India. Thank you. Thank you, Ron, from Kilowatt Bravo 6 Golf Fox Delta, or Greasy Fried Donuts, as I'm known here locally. Let's try SWL 53.
Yeah, the one and only 53, Bel Air, shaking in.
The one and only is right. One and only 53, and the one and only Bel Air on your Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Thanks, Bob. You're sounding good.
Thank you, Dennis.
SWL 54 over on top of page 3. Get an X in the square for Mr. Board Jammer. SWL 55.
55, checking.
55 is checking in. We've got you, M&M. Thanks.
Thank you.
Over to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
Excellent. And like and unlike Michael, SWL 47, who was out at Pismo's and River Park enjoying things today, Phil, 56, he was out at Zodi's and Whitefront and the Ferdinandi Tuck Shop downtown, doing a little bit of shopping. So you've just got to be in the right time frame and wearing the right suit to get these things done. Thanks for checking in, Phil. SWL 57. 57 is one of our worldwide sideband stations from Central Kentucky. 1942. Looking for him on one of the various venues here. Let's try the guy that checked me in on last night, actually. I was thinking, how long ago was that? It seems like only yesterday, and it was. SWL 58.
58 checking in. We're on tubes tonight, and we got our fingers crossed we'll make it through this transmission, and the Lafayette doesn't die on me. But thank you for doing the net, Dennis.
All right, boy, if that's the Lafayette, the audio sounds just crystal clear and most excellent. And why we have you, what do they say, on the key, let people know that would like to have something to do on Friday evenings. And the mode of operation in lower sideband, no tube radio required, although if you can get up to 36, it might work. But there is a Friday night sideband net. So tell us the time and frequency of that over.
Will do. If you're interested in operating a sideband and checking into another net, we are running a lower sideband net on 36 lower sideband every Friday evening at 8 p.m. We will also have a stream running on YouTube. The net is called Ditch Bank SSB Net, and you can search that. If you want to get on a little early and you haven't used the radio in a while and check its frequencies, there's this stream will be running about 15 minutes before the net. You're welcome to do that as long as I don't mess that up, and it does run. But that is the intentions, and everybody is welcome. All radios are welcome, tubes or non-tubes. But thank you for that, Dennis, and looking forward to the rest of the net.
All right, we have a good time.
It should come up, and that's the name of my channel that I created for the net.
There is again. That's an actual feed.
Live, and that's it. There's about a 5-8 second delay in there.
From the audio stream on the Ditch Banks
say test, and then listen to your
net. It's a good thing. If you want to check out your signal, how you look. What does your signal look like? Are you too wide, not wide enough? Do you need more audio? It certainly helped me out. He runs the SDR audio stream on that, and also inviting anybody. This is at night, so we get some eSkip stations in the eSkip zone. We'll be able to hang out and check in as well over there on 27365. Thanks, Jeremy, for that. Let's try SWL 59. SWL 60.
Okay, Dennis. Have we got modulation?
You have modulation over.
Okay. We too are running a little tube type radio here, and she is getting a skosh a bit warm. SWL 60 checking in.
Okay, well, warm isn't too bad for tubes. They typically have the convection cooling and the vented cabinets. That's one thing about tubes. They can take the heat. Unlike us humans wearing suits and ties in 80-degree weather, when a little air conditioning would be nice. And the transistors definitely don't like the heat. So be interested to hear more about it here in a few moments when we start glowing in the dark. I'll keep my fingers crossed that it will be modulating as good as it is now. We've got you checked in.
Okay, thank you, Dennis.
SWL 61.
61 checking in, Dennis.
Always sounding good in the neighborhood here, Midtown Fresno. Thanks, Dean, for checking in.
Thanks,
SWL 62.
Evening time, Dennis. This is 62, checking in from downtown Clovis.
Beautiful downtown Clovis and Pulaski Avenue, which is probably like River Park and everywhere else a little bit deserted. There's probably plenty of parking on Pulaski these days. But you're sounding great and hanging in there. Thanks, Rex.
Catch you, Dennis. We'll see you next week.
Over to SWL 63, X in the square for Bubba and all our New York stations. In fact, because I've got all my video screens reconfigured here, let me get things back to normal here. Let me say hello to who's listening in. Yeah, they're up in the balcony tonight, waving in Anoka, Minnesota. Up there in Zero Land. Thanks for waving a hand. Canby, Oregon. We are coming up to you. We're coming up to you, Bill. In fact, I'm going to check you in now. Bill out there in Canby. Also, hello to Kentucky, Dallas, Georgia, Hendersonville, Tennessee, of course, Fresno, and Albury here in California, as well as Course Gold. The UK is listening in. Garibaldi, BC. Is that our different things from our friends in Squamish? We're probably out there listening as well. Hello to Kansas, or Kerman. And Squamish is there. Texas is in. Woodland Park, Colorado, as usual. I think X4000 from San Francisco. At least that's where it shows up tonight. Hello to Phoenix. You know, if we get some short skip, Phoenix might be on our radar tonight on the S-meter. Somerville, South Carolina, and a host of others. Radio's coming up. Looking for SWL 64. SWL 65.
SWL 65 checking in.
All right, 65 with plenty of audio tonight on the AM carrier. Thanks for checking in, Eric.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
SWL 66. SWL 67 checking in moments ago. SWL 68. SWL 69. Let's see if Kenny's listening in. He probably will be tuning in on the audio stream with the replay. So let's Bozo Control and everybody give Kenny a big shout out there in Tulsa. And then up to Morgan Canyon for SWL 70.
Radio, Dennis. 70 checking in.
All right. I hear you on the AM side, and you've got the radio tuned correctly.
Yeah, just a minor tweak between AM and sideband, but all right, good to hear.
All right, it is good to hear. It's good to hear all our shortwave listeners, and the radio stations will be coming up shortly. SWL 71. Let me look at the screen. Stan is usually really good about making it easy to find him, and and there he does it again, right at the top of the page. How does he do that with all the delays? I can't even do that, and I've got all the controls. Thanks, Stan, for checking in. You know, I'm not seeing Mr. Oh, I know why. I got my screen reconfigured for all the Facebook stuff. And I even found you without looking for Mr. Announcer there. Let's try SWL 72. SWL 73. Checking in 73 from an earlier crossband check-in. Over to SWL 74. Probably giving the 50,000 watt transmitter a rest tonight because it is kind of warm out there. We've got 74 checked in. Hello to Bonnie Lake in Washington listening in. Walden, New York is also tuning in. Hello to Joseph, the Roadrunner, Unit 433 in New Jersey. Across the river from Crazy Bob, who's also in New Jersey. I don't think he's doing any DJing stuff, obviously, at least on the live thing, but Crazy Bob is always in front of a microphone somewhere. Let's try SWL 75. SWL 77. SWL 78. And that is Richard. I'm looking on my screens to see if he has come in. No, doesn't look like it yet. SWL 79. SWL 80. And then over to page 4, SWL 81. I think I saw Steve Areno on the video page, and there he is. Hello, Steve. We got you checked in. And says that Hornblower on Channel 6, a.k.a. Rogers Washington, passed away. I did not know that. One of the stations that would know a lot about tube radios and probably ran many. We got you checked in, Steve. SWL 82.
82, checking in from the ditch banks of Iowa. Good evening.
All right. I don't know if you're wide banding on AM tonight, but you're sounding good from the ditch banks of Biola. And you really make that Christmas tree light up on the sideband net waterfall. And you're sounding good here tonight. Thanks for checking in.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
It doesn't matter what radio he's on. He makes the waterfall. He makes Niagara Falls. That looks like the ditch banks, the water trickling through the ditch banks when he keys up. Let's try SWL 84.
84. Good evening, Dennis. And I sure hope this thing is transmitting, but it is what it is if it's not, but hope you can hear me. And if you can check in on my girls at the appropriate time, I would appreciate it there. Roger.
Okay, I will do that. And your audio sounds really good. Real good audio tonight, so do not touch a thing. And we will get all the affiliated stations checked in over.
Over. It's amazing what a little Cobra 21 will do.
Boy, okay. You know it. All right, and Brown Dog, 57. In fact, let me click the button again. Let me click the button if it didn't get clicked. And get the checked in for Mr. Brown Dog Audio. From Central Kentucky, 1942, in the world in the things of worldwide sidebanders who are just waiting for that skip to come in. 84 at the microphone. Let's try John and Reedley, SWL 85, and then we will get SWL 86, SWL 87, and SWL 88. The Mountain Maid Tandy Girl and the Snowy Owl checked in over to SWL 89. SWL 90, SWL 92, SWL 93, where are we going? SWL 98.
Checking in, Dennis.
And hello, Dave. Fresno Dave. Checking in tonight from, I think he's south of town, south of me, but always putting in a good signal. Thank you. Over to SWL 103. SWL 109.
Good
Hello, radio. Mr. Crawdad up in the big town of Auberry with an equally big signal here into Midtown Fresno tonight. 109 has lit up the light, and we've got you checked in. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, 109 in Auberry up here in the big numbers. Let's try SWL 110. SWL 111, I barely heard him coming through before the net. I absolutely heard him on the crossband, and we will get Robert checked in. And hello to Jimmy Fielder saying hello from Chicago, Illinois tonight. I enjoy the Steam. I don't know where you get those, but he's posts these awesome of the steam locomotive. My dad worked on one of the last steam locomotives here that ran from up the Central Valley from Tehachapi to L.A. to Fresno, and I won't go into now, but he told me just stories, and this would be 47, 48, 49, 50. Definitely not OSHA approved. What a job to keep those things running and not blow the whole thing up. And he was not an engineer, but he was, I don't know what you call it, fireman, but he was stoking the things and running out there with the lanterns in the middle of the night and putting mail out and down through the Tehachapi. So I always like seeing those videos. And you asked me the question. I am actually not sure off the top of my head. I want to say I have to look. I got him a book about 20 years ago, and I think it was called Tehachapi, but both of them ran through there to Santa Fe and the Southern Pacific. Tehachapi's got the loop. He used to tell me about running that loop where you could see yourself, see part of the train as it went around. But anyway, definitely not a job for the faint of heart. I definitely think you had to be 19 or 20 years old to do that, and in very good shape. Next, we are going over to SWL 113. All right, well, I heard a carrier, but no audio. SWL, and now I'm adjusting my headsets because I will hear carrier and audio with this station. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
Sounding good, Wayne. We've got you checked in tonight. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis.
And over to SWL 128. Let me refresh on the other page. I've got the camera set up over there because I was doing the YouTube thing and it didn't, or the Facebook thing didn't work. And now it is totally in my way. There's Mr. John Lee, 128 out of Fairfax, Virginia. Still working on getting the shack finished, almost done. It will be ergonomically good when you get done. Better for your DXing and OTRing pleasure, no doubt. Also, while I'm keyed up here, there's SWL 13, who I missed earlier. Hello, Mike. I'm getting a check-in for you. Let me get that fired up here. And while I'm on it, from Texas, SWL, that's Robert, I think that's 78. No, that is not. Checking in from Texas. Says, hope everyone is well and doing radio like he is. Well, we are trying. We are definitely trying, Robert. And then there was one more. I hate it when everything is out of order. I'm trying to look at the right spot to see things here. Bob and Steve show. How could I miss them? Up in Ohio, they went up the tower and sprayed WD-40 on the antenna, so the RF will jump right off. I had been getting some good reports from the outlying stations. Of course, when I went up there to check my coax, that explains a lot, why I had to sort of tie a rope around my waist and sort of pull myself up like I was climbing up Mount Everest. So it didn't seem to be holding on to the rungs of the Roan 55. So go a little bit easy on the WD-40 next time, will you? The Old Tube Radio Network. We are going to be talking to the radios as soon as I get done with the roll call here. Let's try SWL 131. SWL 133. SWL 135.
SWL 135 checking in.
Sounding good on the radio was gracing the page. Yeah, I was thinking, what haven't we seen? And I always like using your shots if I can because they're good. That's the main thing. And two, you have been gracious enough to give us or to allow us to put them on without sending us a copyright violation. So that's just the one that happened to be there. Over to SWL 137. Short wave listener 145.
Yeah, good evening, Dennis. And 145 checking in from the beautiful foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Just want to say thank you for running the net.
All right, thanks for being there. I think I heard you briefly come in on the sideband net, but there were some audio issues, but you're sounding really good here tonight on AM. Over.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Yeah, I was wondering if I was making the trip tonight okay.
Yeah, you're sounding good. If you're sounding good, we got you checked in. And Brown Dog says he's got a little bit of an echo in the background on the peaks. You know, I was checking sometimes if I don't have all the audio boards turned off and turned on just right, I can get an echo, but I think we are doing okay there. The other thing that I do to myself often is I will have two windows open on my receiving stream, and that drives you nuts. That's when you get the echo. So the other thing to check is make sure you don't have a second OTR stream opened up somewhere, or you've got like the video stream and the audio stream and something like that. I've done that before. And then you get the echo, and it drives you virtually nuts, although I'm pretty much there as it is. Let's try SWL 147. And I am looking to see if Neil has jumped in on the screen somewhere. I'm scrolling down. Sometimes stuff scrolls off the screen and I miss it. 49 minutes ago, it says, Kakalaki checking in very quiet with little or no propagation. I looked at the ARRL report and there was a lot of zeros in the sunspots. That's probably why. And 73 from Dr. Jazz in the Carolina Sandhills. Thanks, Neil, for that. Let's go up to Course Gold, SWL 195.
195 checking in, Dennis. You sound good today.
Yeah, likewise. You're actually, to take a look at the S-meter, actually seems like you're up on the meter selection a little bit better, but I always hear you typically 100%, so not a problem. Must be all that clean air we've been getting. Thanks for checking in. Yeah. Well, I bought a real expensive one, so it has a definite front and back here. So if you ever see me turn the other way, you'll know what happens.
Okay, Dennis, you take care. Thanks for running it.
All right, I'm doing a little other checking on my audio. Everything looks good. Everybody coming in looking good. Over to SWL 2. We'll have the radios coming right up. SWL 226.
Break OTR.
And the break OTR, go ahead, over.
Yeah, this is 110. I was wondering if you checked me in. I couldn't hear you on this old JC. I finally got it. I think I got you clarified in, but you know how they bounce around.
Yeah, unless you have I've got one, but I don't have the digital readout, so you You have to be careful. I called you there 5150, but I didn't put an X in the score, but I'm doing it now. Over.
Thanks.
Okay, and it's a microphone issue. Your carrier was good. Maybe that was you I heard earlier on the carrier. So your audio dropped out. So if you got away if you're on the 101, keep your eye on the plate current meter for a little bit of wiggling or something. I don't think it has a light on it, but try it again. There is the audio just isn't clicking, and it's definitely keying for carrier back to you. Yeah, good carrier, but no audio that time. So it's the microphone is making contact enough to kick in the carrier, but there's something's amiss in the audio. And I did hear you before, so it can work. And when it was working, it sounded good. Still no audio that time. Yeah. Well, we'll be here. We'll be here for a while. You want to check it out. That is one reason we're here, to check out the radios and help people out. Speaking about help people out, those checking in tonight, before you jump into the air chair, head over to the green room. The Ohio dudes went and they grabbed the OTR credit card again and picked up a food during one of those senior days that we have, and the green room is packed and stocked tonight, so we want to make sure everybody gets some tasty items. In fact, I did manage to go over there earlier, and okay, I can't grab it, and I managed to get some of this chocolate milk here. It's in a bottle. They actually put it in the bottle. It's a local Rosa Farms, and they put their milk in bottles, believe it or not, and it is, all right, it is really good. I should have put some ice in there because it's starting to warm up. All right, I've got it set up for the tube radios. I will be right back, and maybe I can get the shack reconfigured the way it's supposed to be after my failed attempt to try and do something on Facebook. Your old Tube Radio Network, we will be back in just a moment. Hey, Chowchilla, don't go away. Let me pull up your page, and I put you in as 46, 7144 Rush in up in Chowchilla. Can you hear me? Over.
Sure, over. What was the number? 46?
46 is where you are on the roll call here on the infamous page 2, and sounding good. Over. Absolutely. If you can make it during the roll call, fine. You can always check in when we are on the air at any time, no problem. And good hearing you, and glad to know I'm still making it up to Chowchilla tonight. All right, 73. Yeah, we're about to get to what we do best, and that's checking in the tube radios. And we will do that right now. I've got to set up a few things, and I will be right back. You're listening to the old Tube Radio Network. Yeah, the real stuff. And you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's get into, where are we here? There it is, the control room. Hi, this is Dennis, and I'm grabbing the Old Tube Radio sheet to check in radios. It's got one of those warning screens saying, the computer is overheating. You never get that with the tube radio. The tube radio never puts anything on the screen saying it's overheating. It's saying, bring on more, and that's what we're doing now. OTR standing by, listening for tube radios.
7135.
25.
All right, we've got 7. Step up into the air chair. We'll grab you. 135. If you head over into the green room, we will catch you for radio number 2. And then there were a couple of other stations. Who else would like to check in?
45. 25.
All right, we 45 and 25, and was there one more over?
17 trying to squeak in.
And 7. All right, 17. Are you doing an SWL check-in, or do you have a radio too? He has both. All right, 17. Don't go away. I hope you can stick with it. If you can't or something, let us know. You'll be here's the order. We're going to go with Ed, and then head over to the Green Arrow, and then over up to Paul, and then over to Jerry, and then over to Eric 17. But right now, if I pick up the right mouse, I will give SWL 17 a check-in on the OTR SWL list. One of our net controllers, and one of the few people that has checked in mobile tube radio. So good to hear you, Eric. Don't go away. All right, let's start with the radios and head over to SWL 7. Hello, radio.
Whoops, it kind of went off there for a second. SWL 7, checking into Browning, Golden Eagle, Mark III SSB. There we go.
You knew it was a Mark something, or an Eagle something. Let's see if we've got a shot of a Golden Eagle SSB. Yes, we do. And there it is. From the collection... Station, I'll be right with you. From the collection of the guy we're going to be talking to in just a moment. But I've got the picture. Let me grab the station. The station. This is OTR. Go ahead. The station. This is OTR. Go ahead.
SWL 105, downtown Easton.
All right. All the page 1 guys. All those net controllers are coming. All right, Easton, we've got you. We're checking in one of your favorite radios right now, the Mark III SSB. That's Mr. Desert Rat out there. Where the big potato market is the parking lot's a little bit empty these days. Sounding good, Fred. Over. All right, thank you, Ed. You want us to grab a little bit of your radio time to get a check-in. The Mark III SSB, take a transmission, over.
Oh, and you more than likely have Cliff's, a nice little Mark III up there for the picture. So, and just like that one, this one has the Golden Eagle D104 also.
It's got the ping. I think Harvey is going to talk to us later in more detail about some Browning items tonight. In fact, last week he mentioned about the ping, and it happened, and it was sort of a mistake, but it was maybe a good mistake, and so they kept it in. The FCC probably wasn't too happy about that, and there were ways to go in and make it less, or make it more, or make it even more. A radio with a lot of history, starting from pretty much almost day one, back in 1959 and 60, when they opened up the Class D citizen radio service. This particular one that you're on, making its debut in 1972 after the Mark II, and then hanging out until 40 channels were the deal of the day. Back to you for another transmission. And how's your receive? How's your static?
Well, my static right now is excellent. There's almost non-existent. Receive, you're just, flooring the needle there, almost bending it. Doing very good. And there's a little bit more of a ping for you.
Yeah, funny how that works. You've got to know, out of all the knobs and dials and switches and meters that you can select from, you have to know the proper switch that does the ping. There are other ways. There's a lot of ways to turn it off, with squelching and things like that, but there aren't many ways to turn it on and make it longer. Sounds good. Thanks for getting us started off tonight on the radio check-ins here at the Old Tube Radio Network, Central California, oldtuberadio.net on the YouTube page, and we hope that our shortwave listeners and those tuning in are able to do just what you are doing and our radio operators are doing this evening, and that's get on the air, whether you're glowing in the dark or not, and blow the dust off of these 23 and 40 channels that aren't seeing much in the way of use these days. But there are some groups out there like ourselves and Old Radio Night and a lot of the other people that do these things. So more power to you. Another transmission from radio number 1 tonight at 8:59, and thanks for bringing it by.
Oh, thank you, and good to hear Cliff out there, so we'll let it go.
All right, continuing on, stepping up from the green room, where there are many goodies tonight, into the air chair, Mr. Green Arrow at 9:03, and we missed the Jingle Singers at the top of the hour. We will get them here shortly, but first I want to hear another Tube Radio. Go ahead, over.
Okay, well, here's another Tube Radio, doing its Tubey thing. Tubey, or not Tubey, this is okay, never mind. Okay, from White Plains, New York, this is the ECI Courier 23. Electronics Communications Incorporated, Courier number 23. 10 tubes, and all 23 channels. I think technically 24 channels. It's got an in-between channel, in between 22 and 23. I'm not sure what it is, because it is unmarked. The microphone is a static microphone, but it says ECI on the front, says a static on the back. And back to you.
The big Courier 23 got the great shot, and I believe that might indeed be the one on which you were talking. It is from your photo collection. This one, it's got a call, one of those Dymo label calls, like 6767, so we will see. One of our SWL's Bolt says it sounds warm and cozy. There's the picture. The picture shows that it is indeed warm and cozy. So back to you, see if you can make that red modulation light to blink a little bit.
Yeah, and it does too. The mod light flashes along almost in a magic eye kind of way. with my modulation. And yeah, it's Kilo Bravo Whiskey 6767 above the speaker. I'm looking at it right now. I left that on there. Whenever I get, I have just a few of these radios that have other people's calls, like you say, in the Dymo tape on them, and I have left them there in honor of whoever the heck they belonged to once upon a time. Oh yeah, it's an Aesthetic 525 plastic gray, non-amplified type microphone. Now I say it says it was made for ECI by Aesthetic because it says ECI on the front. And the range boost is on. I keep forgetting to say that. Range boost is on, and I'm not turning it off because I had a heck of a time getting it to go on and off this afternoon. The switch needs to be cleaned out.
Yes, I will not ask to do the test. Sometimes we'll do that. We'll do a kind of a testing thing, but no need here. And the range boost is this. There are two switches. The one by the speaker looks like it is not that. So it looks like it's the one under the S meter. It's got plenty of audio. There is a slight AC note that is underneath you. It's not affecting anything, but so there might be, you know, a capacitor that's incapacitated, but the audio is like the other station said, warm and cozy. It's got the proper 3x4 call from the 60s and 70s, and the audio is nice for Radio 2 and the Courier 23. What else can we say about that? Original price, I'm showing $189.50, which seems like a deal for a 23-channel radio with an S meter for under $200. That was not bad. And no doubt the secret channel might be that ever-popular 22A, which I think now would be channel 24. If you ever go in there and don't cut the green wire, you might find yourself up on channel 24. Back to you for another transmission.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. And it does both S and RF. It shows signal on receive and RF power out, showing I'm swinging nearly to 4 watts. Of course, I need to put it on a separate meter to see how accurate that is. Oh yeah, so like you said, 2 switches. Underneath the meter is the range boost on and off switch. Next to the speaker, on the right side, that is a CBPA switch. There's an RCA jack in the back. You can hook up a speaker and turn this into a tube-powered public address system.
So you can do, put it on the big speaker, or maybe go mobile with that. And when there are bad things happening, you can say, "Citizens, do not be afraid," as Godzilla runs down Blackstone Avenue. And who was? Oh, speaking of which, who was it? Brown Dog Audio said he was hearing the echo. Brown Dog, a 11 plus for you. I love when the stations know my equipment better than I do. Hello, I'm listening in on my audio headphoniums now on the sound card, and indeed there is some effects, some psychoacoustic effects open on the board. I was probably doing some music production or something, and it is slightly there. So hello. And I think it's probably only on the internet stream. It's probably not feeding the stream that goes out to the radio. So again, we award the, when is Dennis going to know his equipment award to Mr. Brown Dog Audio, who did indeed, you must be wearing headphones or something, or have a nice big speaker to hear that echo. There is no echo on the Courier 23. It is sounding most excellent. So we will go back to Mr. Green Arrow. And I've got the S meter up now, so take a transmission. If you watch the playback, you will be able to give yourself a signal report. Thanks for bringing by radio number 2, the Courier 23, back to you.
Okay, I will. I'll go check that out. I always like to see how these things sound. Yeah, I was going to say, I do not hear any psychotic acoustics over the air here, so I'll have to go back and listen and see how it sounds over the net. Oh yes, and I have actually hooked up a speaker to the PA, and yeah, it's good and loud. It would make a dandy, citizens, do not panic, kind of thing, if I could ever hook this up in the mobile. It was designed to be hooked up and go mobile as well, but I've never done that with this radio. And with that, I will thank you again for letting me check it in. The Courier 23 by ECI. Thanks again, and I hope I'll see you next week. 37.
All right, and you will, hopefully, yes, you will see us all next week. 37, I hear you, and I'm marking you down as radio number 6. So hang out in the green room. We've got plenty of goodies. We're coming up to Radio 3. Just finished with Radio 2, the Courier 23 from Cliff. The Jingle Singers wanted to do the top of the hour. Let me get them going here.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
All right, the station for you is OTR. Next up will be Paul. So, Paul, step up into the air chair. I also want to get, if I didn't already, and I showed that I did not, is SWL 78 checked in the Wild Omar down there in Southern California. Hello, Richard, and thanks for tuning into the Old Tube Radio Network. And let's see if Paul, SWL 45, is still hanging out with us. Over.
Yeah, okay. I want to check in with my helicopter CB-1.
Oh, goody. All right. I love the Helicrafters, and we're having a field day with Cliff's photos today. I think he's got a shot of the CB-1. It's green Arrow Radio Day. Let's see if we get another shot here of the CB-1. Yes, indeed. There it is. We'll put the big picture up. This is a very interesting radio. This was Helicrafters' first entry into Class D. Helicrafters had obviously been around long before that, and at the same time with their amateur radio gear, the HT32 and the HT40 and the Loudon Boomer and the HT37, which I have over here, which I think I have checked in on OTR long ago, from 1959. Give us another transmission, and it sounds really good. Over.
Yeah, okay. I can't keep my eye off that magic eye up there. Tremendous. Sure tell your modulation is good, because it just sits straight up and down. Really nice radio. Thing's 14 inches wide. It's a big radio. It's got a total of 11 tubes in the thing. I think the newer ones, even after this, were a lot smaller than this radio. And Dennis got a story about the case on this. I know I've heard you say it before about the case is the same as the features or something like that. Back to you, Dennis.
I went to the close-up, and this was the 1959 radio. This was the Citizens Radio Service. This was not amateur radio. It wasn't to be technical. You weren't supposed to be giving S-meter reports. You were doing KEO 8492 base to Unit 1. And you needed a way to turn it on, which it has, and you needed a way to transmit. It's got the big push-to-talk bar there and a microphonium, and then the magic eye light would let you know that indeed your audio was in the right, I guess, manner for being heard by watching the controls come together. And the Helicrafters, I guess they figured they could jump in with this, and they had one of their own, almost like a Keir cabinet or a speaker cabinet, and then they secreted the radio, the transceiver inside, and I believe this is a one-channel radio. You had to go inside. I don't see a channel selector, so you had to go in and take the crystals in or put the crystals out. It's in Sam's photo fax number 1, which tells you something, that it was indeed from 1959, called the Little Phone. It is 11 tubes all in that cabinet. It even has a rectifier, the 5Y3GT. It looks like all 6-volt tubes, 6AL5, 6BA6. Cool radio, great audio, and I looked on the S-meter. It looks good too. A lot of forward movement. And if you told me I didn't write it down, what microphone are you running over?
Okay. Well, I'm using Alexa Voice Model 727 ceramic banana-style microphone. course, there's no open-on switch on the mic. You just talk into it, and you key it with your hand on the radio itself at the place where you push down. That'll get you on the air. So it's a little different than running one mic, but you can squeeze there and talk on the thing. But I'll tell you what, it's just an amazing thing. I love watching that eye on the thing. That's really the most fun thing there is, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, it's got a what they place provide, or you're supposed to have a squelch or something like that on the thing, but it doesn't work. I don't know, there's something about it. It just cuts out the speaker up front. All I get is a word. I'm sure they've got an idea for it. It's probably not hooked up properly, for me anyway. But that's about it, Dennis. Thanks a million for checking it in.
Hey, thanks a million for bringing it by. One of the good ones, and we are fortunate enough to have the great shot from Cliff, his collection showing what looks like a dynamic or crystal microphone. Your edition of the Electro Voice 727 is really good. The audio is perfect. It doesn't sound, you could have fooled me. You could have fooled me and said you were on some fantastic plastic transistor radio. And I would say, okay, yeah, I won't check it in. It can't possibly be from 1959, radio number 3, sounding good. Can you tell that all the barbers are closed? I'm getting that sort of hair helmet thing going on here tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go over to, just so you know who's coming up, radio number 4. Stepping into the air chair is Jerry coming up next. Thanks, Paul. After that will be Eric. Eric, I hope you're still there, SWL 17, and then after that, Chris will be radio number 6. So let's head over to radio number 4, and Jerry, over.
All righty, Dennis, I'll try to make this as quick as I can. By the way, it's wonderful to hear from Eric, number 17, and Paul, that radio sounds great. Real quickly, 25 checking in on the General Radio Telephone MC5 from downtown beautiful Burbank, California. And we're talking on a Turner Plus 3B. And that's about it. I'm just going to throw it back to you, Dennis.
All right. They made a sideband version of that, but unfortunately, if you had one, you'd have to really stretch it to get it up to channel 36, because I don't think it would be capable of that. But the MC5 is certainly capable of channel 11. It's capable of all channels on the receive, as it's got the cool receive VFO that a lot of the early radios did to save you from, one, having to buy crystals, which were, $3, $4 a shot. The other thing was, obviously, you had to be crystal controlled on the transmit, so they couldn't put a VFO in and an agile VFO for the transmitter and get it type accepted. It sounds good, so we'll go back to you because we are expediting things here, but I want to give time to our radio operators who graciously take time out of whatever they're doing on Saturday evenings to stop by and check in the radios and let our SWLs hear what the band, probably what Channel 11 certainly sounded like back in 1963 when this radio was brand new. Give us a transmission and don't forget the tone signal. Over.
Roger. Anyway, while I was in the green room, the champagne was flowing, the jingle singers were in a great mood, and lots of hors d'oeuvres, so I appreciate that. And by the way, there is one little, besides the tone signal alert, there is one little secret little crystal socket in the front of the radio that you can plug in. It would be the secret frequency that you would want to transmit on, I guess. But it's below the tone signal button, which is spring-loaded, and in between the receive and transmit knobs. So anyway, here's the demonstration on the tone signal alert, which I know the FCC did not like. Anyway, here we go. I'm transmitting and then that was it. Anyway, back to you, Dennis.
Back to me in the studio. I was taking a look at the S meter. And it's definitely, the tone signal's put those things at 100% modulation. And an apropos item, because our next station, Checking In with Radio 5, used to have one of the most interesting tone signals on a radio that he checked in ever so long ago. Radio number 4, we're listening to the MC5 from Jerry out there in Madera Heights. The radio that made its debut, I want to say, in late 1962 and was a big seller in 1963 at just under $200, probably the most advertised general radio telephone, much like the MC4, but it had a stronger transmitter, and it was the last general radio telephone with the tone signal because the FCC didn't like you building in noisemakers. Didn't like to type acceptor radio that had the tone unit stuck inside. If it was an external thing, or maybe on the microphone you could get away with it, or maybe a mistake like Browning did with the Ping. And that is a 7-tube radio. And you could run 6-volt, 12-volt, or 115-volt AC if you have the proper cords, and there is a schematic available at oldtuberadio.com. Let's see, and Warren's saying that the long hair goes well with the old radios in the 1970s. Yeah, I was thinking, if I looked at a high school picture, it'd probably be, my hair is about the same. And I've got the seersucker suit on tonight with the, thanks to the Ohio guys, the Master Control Operator 33 shirt. So let's see. Number 5, radio number 5. Hello, Eric, are you still out there? Over. Okay, another perfect radio for the evening. The Courier Royale was the radio that was featured on Old Radio Tonight. JT SWL21 was on his Courier Royale. He calls it, and you might, you're old enough to know this, he calls his the Pimp. Let's get a shot of it there. Okay, he calls his the Pimp because of the gold and the purple and the silver colors, which sort of reminds him of how certain people would paint up their Pintos when they were prowling around at night. But I don't know if you call yours the Pimp or not, but it sounds good. Over.
Well, as long as the audio is pimping, I'm okay with that. My youngest daughter always thought it was the prettiest of the radios because of the purple and gold. Anyway, nice radio, and got the original handheld microphonium from Euphonics.
Oh, the handheld microphonium. Now, there is, we can see all the controls on the front, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of those radios did, and I think some did not. They had a mic gain, but it was hidden in the back. Your audio is fine, so no need to rummage around back there and turn any controls, but I'm just wondering if you know if that has the mic gain control on it or not.
I'm not sure that this one does. There may be a turn pod in there that can be adjusted, I'm not sure.
All right, and you don't need it. Eric is not that close to me with the signal. It's not full quieting, but I hear you just fine, and my antenna is pretty low, but the Courier Royale, which was out of the 3 Couriers that were being sold at the time, that was the top of the line radio up in the high $2. It might have even been close to $300 because it was all 23 channels, every option that you could get that you couldn't get in the other 2 radios that Courier offered at the time were offered in that one, and it did run 12-volt DC if you had the right cable for it. Plus, it had, and this added some cost to the price, no doubt, in the late 1960s, the Collins 6 kilohertz mechanical filter was in that as well. I'm looking at the tube complement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tubes, and I'm seeing if it had They're kind of jumbled up here. It looks like it had a couple of 12-volt tubes in it as well. So, radio number 5, the Courier Royale. Good to hear Carolina Kid on the frequency, SWL 17. Give us another transmission. Make the lights light up, and thanks for remembering that this is indeed the Saturday night place to be. Over. I am on the solid state radio tonight. One, because I need to use its receiver to feed the audio stream, but in lieu of my, I guess, neglect to be tubed as proper, I have inserted some tubes in the audio chain to at least feign that I might sound like a tube radio. Over. But thanks to your 6 kilohertz mechanical filter in the Courier Royale, you can pull the micro milliwatted Midtown mud machine out of the noise tonight. Thanks for bringing by the Courier. Okay, next radio on the old tube radio network tonight will be Radio 6. We'll log in it at 9:26, and that should be Chris, Mr. Go Boy at the microphonium. Over.
Hello, there we go. We didn't have no modulator for a minute. Anyway, Dennis, SWL 37 here. We're going to check in on our general radio telephone, the Super MC11A, 24-channel tuber, glows in the dark. We run this here with a handheld stock microphone. Over.
And you're okay with that? You know, a lot of stations come in and they have the plus 2s and 3s and amplified microphones, and they have to change batteries. And you seem to be just okay with running the microphone that came with the radio 40 years ago.
Yes, that is indeed right.
And I think it's still kind of working. Treat that microphone gently. Over.
Well, I have dropped this puppy out how many times on the floor right here, not holding it properly, or when I hang it up there, it slip and fall off. So, hey. Some days it does, and other days it makes me wonder, what am I doing?
Well, see, that's just some days. It's every day I wonder what it is that I'm doing. The general radio telephone Super MC11A, there's a closer shot. That is indeed the same style of microphonium that Chris is running, which is the CM3, I think. The radio does not have a range boost on it, I don't think, but it has a local range, but that's for the receive. The audio is just that way. Beaconing on channel 11, and give us another transmission on Radio 6. Thanks for being patient and hanging out with us, but we're glad we waited to hear the general radio telephone.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm going to be coming back with another one, and just a second. And it's going to be similar to what the other ones were running out there a little bit ago. So it'll match up and make 3 of them, I think. Yeah. We'll see what happens. I'll be out on the other one.
All right. Thanks for stopping by tonight with the general radio telephone on... Should be radio number 6, and indeed it is. I want to say hello to stations listening in to the Old Tube Radio Network. My name is Dennis, and we are here in Central California. This is something we've been doing. We do every Saturday evening, most Saturday evenings throughout the year, beginning at 8 p.m. Pacific time, and we have been doing it since the mid-1980s, believe it or not, when these old tube radios were old. Not as old as they are now, but they are old. And a while back, we started streaming at oldtuberadio.net. Hello to the new stations listening in from Kentucky, Wisconsin. Hello to Sun City, California. And then we started doing a video portion on YouTube sometime back so that we could give you a word's eye and a bird's eye view of the radios that check in. And of course, if you are listening on Channel 11 and the skip happens to be in your favor, a little E-skip or whatever, you will hear the Central Valley of California beaconing in with the tube radios, and we certainly welcome you to give us a call. The Jingle Singers are going to tell us the friendly favorite place to be here at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll be looking for radio number 7.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
Number 7.
All right, and we have a radio for number 7, or a radio for our number 7, which is his number 7. Or maybe not his number 7 radio. Anyway, I'm getting confused. Hello, Ed. Take a transmission here at 9:31.
And 37 also.
Well, this time we have the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68.
I will find, I think I have an advertisement for that. We may have another one coming in later this evening. And Chris, I've got you logged in. You'll be the next radio, and I think I might have another one too, so we'll find out. We'll find out who's there. We have room for everyone. What was the old ad? There's always room for Jell-O. Well, there's always room for another old tube radio. Let's see. There's the ad. Let me just do the full screen ad here for the R68 T68, the original Golden Eagle. Back to you.
Oh, there we go. Fairly new to my collection, but still a nice radio. And yeah, the good old Golden Eagle. Oh, and the banana mic is attached. I do not have the external speaker, though. I've never actually seen one of those.
I would venture to guess if you do see one on eBay, it's probably going to be more than, I think they were $25 or $30 brand new when you could buy them from Browning Laboratories. My guess is the shipping probably would be more than $25 on those. But what you've got right now on the radio sounds good. There was a Series 1 and a Series 2 from 1967 to 68. So for your $400, let's see, the Eagle Series 2 transmitter has the lighted on the air light rather than the spotlight that's on the Series 1, and some receivers have variable RF gain. Others have a 3-position switch for RF gain. And there are actually a cabinet that you could put that into. So I think you told me that this was possibly a Series 2 that you're running.
Yes, it is a Series 2. It does not have the variable RF. It's got the 3-position, which is really weird because I've never had that on any radio. So, yeah, it's a bit different, but it works pretty darn good.
Yeah, interesting why they chose to do that. Maybe a high, medium, low, or just in the scheme of things, they said, you know, we really don't want to figure out how to put another knob on the receiver. We would have to totally rework things, which, of course, they did when they came out with the Mark III. Or the Mark II. So, who knows? But it is Browning, and it's Golden Eagling, and it's sounding good for Radio 7. Give us another transmission, and we will, let's see, I might put up the S meter so we can give you a, got to get the right shot there. There it is. Give you a signal report. I'm sure it's 20 over plus. Go ahead.
Well, that would be nice. Yeah, the 3-position is actually local, normal, and distance. So there you go.
All right, you're 1 bar under 20 over, and when you hit certain peaks, it goes up to 20, but full quieting nonetheless. Thanks for bringing that by. All right, next radio is Chris for radio number 8, and we'll take you at 9:34. But before you key up, Chris, hang on one, and I want to see if there's another station. Was there another breaking station for OTR? Go ahead.
45.
25.
hand tripping.
All right, so we've got Radio 8 coming up now, which will be Chris. And then we'll get Paul for radio number 9. And then we'll take Jerry for radio 10. And then radio 11. And maybe even a check-in for 11 as well. That was 50. That was Mark. So plan the rest of your day accordingly. We've got plenty of items in the green room to catch you before you come up. So next up, so it's going to go Chris, Paul, Jerry, and Mark. So next up is Chris with Radio 8. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Dennis. SWL 37 here, and everything's working. The lights are blinking. We're going to check.
You notice how when they say everything is working, that is really a bad thing to do when you're running an L-Tube radio. Calling Chris, over.
Something's wrong. I don't know. Hang on. Just a second. It's blinking there, but... Oh, yeah, all right. It's blinking there, but I just see no modulation up here on top. But anyway,
time for some chocolate milk.
The amplified demo 4. I hope you got it all. Over.
No, actually, I didn't get much of anything. I'm taking a chocolate milk break. Whenever we have a mishap, chocolate milk is always a good thing to do. You mentioned something about everything was working, and then everything stopped working. So give me the particulars again. Over.
Okay, this is the Courier Royale 23-channel tuber. It glows in the dark. With all the knobs in the front and the hidden ones in the back and the blinking lights up in front, or run it with a D104 lollipop. Over.
All right, trying to get a shot of the Courier, and for some reason... Okay, there it is. It wasn't coming up, because we had one earlier. The Courier's a popular radio tonight. Eric was on one. Mr. JT was on one tonight for his program, and here you are with yours, and it is working. That was 100% that time. Take another transmission.
Yeah, I hope it stays that way. Now once I don't know, me not keying down hard enough or something. But anyway, yeah, this one's mine, and like I say, it is working.
And working well. All right, now that we've got the radio, I'll put it back for an S-meter check. Take one more transmission. Thanks for bringing by radio number 8. The Courier's always one of my favorites.
Okay, Dennis, you betcha. All right, well, this is the last one for midnight. It's movie night, so I got to get in there and watch a movie. So, Dennis, thank you, and I will be listening with the right ear toward you know where the radios are at from my chair in there. So I'll be listening.
All right, thanks for bringing that by. And you're sounding good. You're sounding good up in the hills tonight. Mr. 360 says so. Also, Ray, you're pondering, was that laboratories or lavatories? The Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 that checked in prior was a Browning Laboratories, but 44, stay tuned because we will be having the Browning Lavatories version checking in soon, I think. Okay, next up, radio number 9 will be beaconing from North Fork tonight as Paul has found another coiled cord connected to a radio. Hello, Paul. Over.
Yeah, I sure have, Dennis.
Wow.
This is another one with the Magic Island. My Robin T-123.
Boy, that has some big audio, and it is a Magic Eye Night. Bringing up the T-123. Take another transmission. That radio sounds excellent.
Yeah, okay. This is quite a change from the earlier one I checked in. It's got meters on the thing, and it's all copper chassis on the thing. Circuit boards, 11 tubes in the thing, like the old. But it's got the Magic Eye, which makes it real interesting. By the way, the eye is different than the one this is kind of a up and down eye. The other one was a round eye. So if you ever see him, you know what I'm talking about. Back to you, Dennis.
Yeah, but there's the picture I put up. If anybody's watching the video or the shot at oldtuberadio.net, the cutout in the front of the case, you're looking directly into the side of the tube, and then the two lights, or the two parts of the tube, come closer together as you get closer to 100% audio. The tube that was on the Hallicrafters, you're looking at the top of the tube. And like the old Pac-Man, the wedges come together as you increase the voltage or whatever it does to get close to 100% modulation. Really good audio, nice, clear, good fidelity. Don't need to touch a thing. The Robin T123, and let's see, that is probably about 10 years older than the Hallicrafters of earlier, and that one would go 12-volt DC. Shows up in Sam's PhotoFax 35. I was trying to see how many tubes were in that thing. I think there's 11, but I can't count them for sure. Back to you for transmission.
Yeah, it's 11 tube. And by the way, the microphone I use here is a stock microphone for the Robin ceramic type. So it's made in Japan. It's a funny thing on the thing, it's several said made in Japan, and they said something about it made in the United States, something back on the thing. Confused me. Someday I'll get into it. Not right now, I won't. Thanks for checking it in, Dennis.
All right, thanks for bringing it by tonight. It's radio number 9, and that is from Robin. The T123, which we just heard, they had the 123B, which was the Panasonic clone, and then the 240D, which was the 40 channel. So this is the early version of that, a little different, but boy, nice audio. And as I mentioned before, Paul is not close by. He's probably 35 or 40 miles away, so doing a good job. All right, up in the double digits we go. Radio 10 will be from Jerry. Think he used to go by the handle Sidekick. Over.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you can call me anything you want, Dennis. But it's kind of a replay from number 7. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, 2-piece radio, transmitting on a non-powered banana mic. I believe that was made by Electro Voice. And yes, I do have the bass. A lot of people break those bases when they pick the mic up, and then it falls off on the ground and breaks a million pieces. But anyway, very quickly, back to you. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III.
Mark III SSB. There is an AM version of that, which would be, the difference would be the transmitter would be half the size that it is. In fact, I think I saw one for sale on one of the Facebook pages. I think they're actually rare. But cost-wise, they were about $200 less than you would pay for the sideband version. They're all in one shot, but it sounds good. And before I go, speaking of Sidekick, are you guys doing any gigs, or is that pretty much over with for a while?
We're actually putting together a super group from different musicians that you probably have heard of, but it's on standby because a lot of the venues, if you will, are not promoting music right now. So we're looking towards maybe June, July, something like that, and should, open back up. So we're hoping. We're keeping our fingers crossed, and of course we want to be safe too. So, but yeah, we're rehearsing, and I don't know if you remember a group called March Hare, and well, anyway, I probably shouldn't even have thrown that out, but keyboard player from that particular venue is myself, and a few other great musicians are putting something together, so it should be fun. Anyway, thanks for asking, Dennis, and back to you.
Yeah, and I do remember the group March Hare. There's probably some posters. I was looking at some 1980s posters of groups that were playing at the Wild Blue Yonder, and they just came back to me and said, "Wow, listen, where are these groups now? What are the groups doing?" So I bet March Hare might have been on one of those Wild Blue Yonder posters back in the day. And I think the state of California is actually having some type of and I kid you not, a stimulus thing if you were in the arts and crafts and music to help out for lost venues. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Maybe you can get the group can get a little bit of a stipend to carry you through in July until they open up the decking at the Fresno Fairgrounds to allow people to do stuff. Anyway, thanks for that. And I know we're all staying safe, and that is a good thing, too. Radio number 10, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, always sounds good. Again, Jerry is not that far from me. Is far from me. I should say he is very far from me. Over the hill, there's a giant giraffe in the way, and he puts in a great signal with my my wimpy antenna here. So I'm always amazed how good he does sound. Maybe not. He runs a great station, so he always sounds good. Thanks. Okay, now let's see if, and I apologize, Mark, for making you wait so long. I hope you are still there because I do want to hear your radio and get you checked in, and you'll be number 11. Lucky number 11 tonight. Hello, 50.
Yep, over the hills and through the woods. Same. Golden Eagle Mark III. Bunch of pretty gold knobs and about 100 tubes. Anyway, checking in.
All right, the Mark III, and that is the SSB and not the AM, right?
Oh, yeah, sure, you betcha.
Okay. We get some check-in, but I just want to make sure because I'll make a note of it, and I'll change the picture if I have to, but I didn't have to. This worked out well. For me, anyway. I don't know about everybody else. Radio 11, Mark, SWL50, will get you checked in as well. And Mark has been lighting up the old Tube Radio Network, gosh, pretty much from when we started long ago. Appreciate the check-in, and thanks for stopping by.
All right, no worries. I think I'm going to go in and stare at my eyelids.
It is that time. I'm always amazed at our shortwave listeners, our SWLs that aren't from the West Coast, staying up late with us tonight when it's not even Saturday anymore. So thanks to our Tube Radio operators that bring by some interesting items of interest to keep everybody glued to their respective universal media netweb devices. This is the old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark. I'm going to take a pause and see if we've got any other stations.
60.
And there is one right there. Hello, Joe. That's right. You mentioned that you were glowing in the dark tonight. Did you not?
Yeah, glowing in the dark. Well, it seemed like we're running a heater and you had to turn the AC on to cool the room down. We're on a Messenger, a Johnson Messenger 223. I know we had modulation because you said at least that part was working. Other than that, we're on a stock mic and know nothing else about it.
Boy, no, the audio's good. Thanks for hanging out. I have two versions, picture-wise, of the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, and I've been asking myself in prior weeks, where are the E.F. Johnsons, the radios that used to be with the Lafayettes and some of the other ones are most heard radios of the evening. So what I will ask you is, does your Messenger 223 have the modulation light that's somewhere in the center under the S meter there?
No, not this one.
Okay, then I've brought up the right one. Let me pull it in there because I have a picture of one that has the modulation light in it, and I'm not sure if that would be an earlier version or a later version, but is the version that we have, and it is sounding good. The 223, always a good go-to radio for getting on the air if you can find one. It is basically the Messenger 2, which was a great radio. They figured out how to give you all 23 channels and put it in a bigger case and pretty much make it a base radio. I don't think there's, there's always ways to go mobile with that, but E.F. Johnson did not make a mobile cord to go 12 volts with that one because at the time they had some other radios that would go mobile, a little bit easier. Thanks for firing up the channel 11, and I always forget that you do have some glowing tubes that way.
Yeah, I think one time they tried to do mobile, so maybe somebody had something in their RV or maybe some power they were using this thing. It has got some, it looks like one time maybe had a bracket on it. But no, she's pretty simple, and we got a little bit of cleaning up to do. I think we're about 2 hours with it, and the main thing was it's working. I see on the meter here, modulation's rolling. I think I got about 3 watts, maybe a little better than 3 watts coming out of it. But we'll do some more checking around on it, and hopefully it'll be with us for a while.
Yeah, I'm glad, because we would like to definitely get it checked in prior episodes or future episodes of the Old Tube Radio Network. I'm going to pop up the S meter and have you take one more transmission, so if you watch the video or whatever, you can give yourself a signal report. So give us another transmission. You're Radio 11, thanks. Are you Radio 12, rather? Thanks for bringing by the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223.
Thank you much, Dennis. Hey, I'm happy that it's working. Always makes me feel good when we pick up something and it actually works. We're happy on that end. So leaving it at that, Dave. You know what? This old messenger, we're going to put it on the little quiet side. We'll be listening in.
And it has really good audio, nice, clean audio. Just a reminder that if anyone wants to hear a playback, we archive the shows. You can go to oldtuberadio.net. There's a button at the top that says archive. If you click on that and wait about a minute and a half, the OTR magnetophone, which is our little 3-inch reel-to-reel recorder, loads all those tapes from I don't know when we started doing this, 2011 on the archives. And you can pick the date and whether it is a tube radio check-in or an SWL check-in, and you can give yourself a radio report. Still time to check in radios. Want to say hello to who's listening in new. Beverly Hills. I always love these stories. Let me say a little story about Beverly Hills. Back in the day, my day of CB radio, and this would be 1970, 71, there was a station I talked to. He was called the Malibu Surfer. And he had a house. His parents had a house in Malibu. He was about my age. He was high school age, and was one of the few people I talked to was high school age. And I used to talk to him when he went out to the Malibu beach house, because where I was had a good shot out to Malibu. But when he wasn't there, he was in Beverly Hills. And I could just barely hear the guy when he was in Beverly Hills. You'd think it would be a better shot, but downtown L.A. wasn't the best shot from where I was by the beach. But anyway, I remember the Malibu Surfer, and he used to beacon out of Beverly Hills. So if that's you, Malibu Surfer, more power to you. Also, let's say hello to Rob, saying that, he talked about the Visalia convention. Back in March, things had started taking off, Hamfest and the NAB and the Visalia DX convention, and I was thinking, this will be my year. So, which would have been this weekend, huh? All right. Maybe next year. But as always, Rob is enjoying hearing your radios, and we appreciate our operators that take time to check in with us and inspire, we hope, others to do the same where they are at. Looking for Lucky Radio 13 on the Old Tube Radio Network.
How about Radio 113?
Radio 113, take a transmission over.
Hey, it's Tom Alexander. I just fired up my Robin T123B. Harvey tweeted up for me last year for Moonlight Madness. We should get up. A quick question there, Dennis. Monitor a couple different frequencies on CB. So I'm on that Robin right now.
He's on the Robin, and we will catch the quick question, Joe, after the check-in here at 9:53 on the Robin T123B. Sounded good. Sometimes on the AM side, it's a little hard for me to hear you, but the Robin, all the Robins tonight have great, seems like the great audio coming through everything. Let me get you checked in on the SWL side, and then I'll grab a picture of the 123B. Heard you on the sideband. You're looking good on the waterfall on the sideband net as well. Over.
Yeah, I was on the Stryker on that one. I got to switch over to Stryker to see how well it does on this. Maybe after
Yeah, we'll see. Audio is good on this, just like our other, the one that Paul was on, the T123. You are basically in my noise. I don't think you're moving the meter. We'll check it when you check in again. But it's got some good audio on the 123B, which was the Panasonic chassis from 1972 to 1976, and that's what good old 11-tube AM plate modulation will do for you. Give us another transmission. Wow, all right. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Well, that's what I like. I like to keep these radios going, and I always like the stories about, somebody got this radio or they bought it here, and it floats around but stays in the area and comes back, and the fact that people are willing to take the time to fire them up on Saturday evenings is also a plus. You are lucky Radio 13 on the Robin T123B, and good to hear you in there tonight. Take another transmission, and then we will pick up the breaking station. All right, very good. And they're giving you a report up in Squaw Valley of 5 and 6, so Sangertown is breaking down the doors up in the foothills. Thanks for that. And let's see, Mitch. Yeah, the micro milliwatted, that came from, like the story I was telling you before about Beverly Hills, that came from my Manhattan Beach days when we were on the 100 milliwatt walkie-talkies, and it was the micro milliwatted mismodulated Manhattan mud machine, which was even harder to say 5 times in a row. Who was beaconing? It was Joe. Hello, 60. I think you had a question. Or maybe the question was answered. OTR standing by. And I missed it. There's Johnny Defiant. KZS 4949. We had a 67, what was the 6767? That was on somebody's Dymo label maker. So hello to, let's see. Can I do this? Where's the control? So it was Brown Dog Audio that caught me running the psychoacoustics here. Say hello to Johnny Defiant. There we go. OTR standing by. Who is the break for OTR? Go ahead, over. All right, there's plenty of carrier, but no audio. There was a little bit of audio to begin with. I don't know. That's 5150 trying to get... Try it again. Keep an eye on any wiggle meters or panel lights that indicate audio. Go ahead. Yeah, I hear you, but you're probably about 20% on the audio. Over. Oh, right at the last, right at the last part, there was a crackle, and the audio was trying to come up. So rotate those controls a little bit more. Maybe dance that cable just a little bit, not too much. It may be hanging by a thread. Where OTR is listening. All right, still not where it needs to be, but we have audio proof earlier in the evening that it did fire up one time and sounded pretty good when it did. Yeah, not sure. It's certainly the keying circuit Those wires are okay. Whether it's something in the microphonium or whether it's some control issue on the, let's see, the 101. I think you said you're on the 101. It should have a mic gain. Whether it's an issue with that, I'm not sure, but carrier's good. All right, well, it came in that time. Now, that's making me think that you have a bad cable in the microphone because your audio came up and it was extremely overmodulated. So where you think the control should be on the radio is probably correct, at 10 o'clock or 12 o'clock, kind of a mid-position. So I'm thinking there is a bad wire or something in the microphonium itself because that had plenty of audio that time, and it came right up. Yeah, if you're watching the plate current, the current meter, I don't think there's had a modulation meter. You'll see it move, and like I said, right now you've got wherever the mic gain control is probably way too much when the audio happens. So there is an unhappy wire in there somewhere. Over.
Yeah, it's on the microphone, Dennis. Definitely, it's bouncing around. I can see it on the meter. Yeah, I can see it works, and then if I jiggle the wire on the microphone going into the radio, it bounces around. We won't waste any more time, Dennis. 5150. We're waving.
All right, never a waste of time. That is why we are here to do radio checks and reports and help people figure out how to make things sound good. The audio was pretty much 100% that time. And wherever the control is, you might even need to bring it down when it's working. But I think you've got a handle on, you just got to find if it's the green, the blue, the white, or the red wire, and resolder that puppy. Sounding good on the 101. That's a 101, I think you said, right?
The FT 401B, FT 401B.
All right, the 401B, which I think that's still a hybrid. Some of them were all tubes, but the 401B, I'm going to add that as radio 14. I probably don't have a handy picture of that one, but it's definitely got some audio and beaconing down from Millerton, quite nice.
The old school headphone plugs, and I had a board jammer fix it for me, and I'll figure it out. I'll pull it apart maybe tomorrow and figure it out, Roger?
Yeah, it's trying to work. In fact, there's a shot of it, the 401B. That's back in the FT. That's earlier. I think is that before the 101? It looks like it has that look. There it is. There's the mic gain at the top. That's got that's way different. I'm really not familiar with the 401s. Got the classic Yaesu meter, the pre-select. That is a cool looking radio. This one, I don't know if you have the digital display or the analog display. And my guess is if that's a hybrid, at least might be all tubes. So there you go. Okay, on the 401B.
Thank you. With me holding my hands on it right there. We'll figure it out, Dennis. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Okay, looks good. Power control, I don't know, maybe that's solid state. I mean, I don't even see a heater control on that. Maybe it is solid state. I'll have to do my research on the 401B. From 1976, 10 through 80 meters, 200 watts DC input, and sold for about $600 in 1976, which would probably be about $4,000 today. Thanks 5150 for that. All right, I'm going to do counting and amounting, but we will keep things open here as we are listening for any final check-ins. The website is, for the streaming audio, oldtuberadio.net. Oldtuberadio.net for the streaming audio, and then there's also oldtuberadio.com for information about radios.
Oldtuberadio.net. Okay, good.
Yeah, oldtuberadio.net, and you will see there's a 6L6 on the page. When it is glowing orange, that means that the Old Tube Radio net control transmitter is on somewhere beaconing. And other times it may not be glowing, but there may be people listening, and you never know when it might be glowing. OTR standing by. Jingle singers are tapping on the glass. Let's go over there.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
Looking for Radio 15.
Oh, by the way, there's the striker. There is the striker.
Okay, that definitely has a little bit more punch to it.
Yeah, probably been tuned a little bit better.
But I hear you. The audio is great on the other one. This one's got more signal.
Okay, well, that's what it's supposed to do, a solid state, you know. I'll get the 101B up in a couple of weeks, and I got to put a little chip in it for CB, and then put a 4-watt oscillator in it, so I'm only putting out 4 watts.
Yeah, the B should be able to do safely on AM probably 3 times that. Actually, they'll do more, but you got to watch your plate current. But you get them at 15 or 20 watts, and they still have a little bit of headroom.
Well, I just want to stay legal. Anyway, okay, we're listening. Thank you.
All right, yeah, the signals. The Striker's got the signal, and I'm going to give the Robin T123B definitely has the nice crystal clear audio.
Yeah, I just got to get my antenna up in the air higher and maybe put a beam.
Yeah, there you go. And the audio was good that time. I think you might have been overdriving a little bit. Sounds good. Whatever you're doing now, you don't need to do much more.
There's all kinds of buttons on this Striker. I got to figure it out. All right. Thanks again. I didn't know you had is that a live stream you have on there?
Yeah, there's an audio stream that the way it started that you can, I guess it comes on automatically if you turn on the audio. And then there's a box with a live stream that may or may not be going on. And then if you click on that, it takes you to the YouTube. And that includes, unfortunately, video of me, but a lot of times video of the radios, which is a lot better.
That is so cool, and it's got a little bit of delay there, so I guess do you have a dump button?
Well, when we're at the FM, we have a specific box that they make that'll put you a 15 or 20 second delay. So what you're seeing is just the good old ISP delay and latency in the video thing. So typically, I run it without a dump button. I guess I could, but I don't think, unlike a broadcast station, the FCC probably can't find me. What they do, YouTube has some rules with copyrighted music and copyrighted material, and since 99.99% of the time we are generating our own content here, we don't have any problems with copyrights because it's all brand new and live. So it works out pretty good that way. Occasionally you'll see, if you watch the stream of the people listening, you'll see Mountain View kick in on the digital SWLs on frequency. And those are the Google bots making sure that my tie is straight and my hair is combed.
No, that is really cool. And then it's got a little bit of delay, so now I'm on the Robin now, so now I can tell the difference between my Striker and my Robin.
Yeah, and you can actually see the S meter too. So there is definitely a signal difference, but the audio is pretty clean on the Robin. Also, the video will be up for a while on the YouTube, and then there's an audio archive. If you click up on the archive button on the top of that, where you can replay back in an MP3. All right, counting and amounting, OTR is listening. I'm not as cool as Jeremy. We don't have the waterfall where you can actually look at your signal and figure out how to make it better.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. But you're styling. You're looking good, though.
Yeah, I figure if you're going to do a net where you're talking about 1960s and the 1970s, you should put on the 1960s and 1970s seersucker suit. So there we go.
Can you do like a half-inning play-by-play and do a Vince Scully voice?
Well, that's sort of what we're doing all evening is the play-by-play. Now, if you're watching, here's what happens when you're doing the roll call. We have an SWL check-in. So say, for instance, if SWL 113 comes in, if I get on the right screen here, let's do that one. There. You'll see at the top of the page it says checking in SWL 113. And then when I get audio confirmation that SWL 113 is there, it changes to checked in. So you can always look up on the screen and make sure that Net Control heard you.
Now, this is really cool. You need to do something like this with one of our ham radio nets. That'd be quite interesting.
Well, it's all set up for audio, so it wouldn't be that hard. And occasionally, I have streamed. Let's see, on the 2-meter side a long time ago, and some of the other ones. So it can be done. I think a lot of people are usually wanting to get in and get out. But if, like I say, if you have a little time and have the video, you can do things. And then we have a way to put in the radios as well. Let's see, where are they? Like that one. Let's see if I get it right. And then the full screen. So as the radios come up, we can get pictures of the radios as well, so that if people aren't familiar with them, they can actually kind of get an idea of what the operator is sending in front of. All right, I'm going to ask for any other stations and then get out of here so that people can use the frequency as normal. Only. You know, if you're going to be on Citizen Band Radio and you're going to be one of those CB cotton pickers, then you can wear the seersucker suit. And I used my alternate camera to set up for the Facebook stream tonight, which didn't work out at all. And so I took it off of the REA modulation meter. So I'll set that all back up. But if there's some easy way to do a Facebook Live, I don't know about it, to get that. It's basically made to take your phone and wave it in front of your face. It doesn't really match well with something like this where you've got multiple cameras and things, at least not that I have found out.
Hey, what side Mason Dennis mic are you using? Is that a Heil?
What was the question? Was it about the microphone?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was a Heil microphone.
Oh, all right. Let me get rid of the banner here. Yeah, this is a PR40. I've had this a long time. This is when they first came out. So this is a Heil PR40. and it runs into some of the audio processing gear here, and then the receiver, which is up over here, feeds the audio stream to the internet, and then I split the stream out between the audio that goes to the radio, which has to be a certain way, and the audio that goes out to the internet, which has to be a certain way. So it takes a little bit of finesse, and that's why oftentimes you see things crashing and burning around here.
Okay, no, it sounds really good. Yeah, I need to get a little bit better microphone for my HF stuff. I don't even know. I'm trying to look at this thing. This thing's about 45,000 years old. I don't even think it has a brand name on it. What is it? It's an MC50. MC50. That's what I use for my HF. So anyway, all right. Well, I think everybody went to bed or something, but that was a good net. Thank you for running that thing. That was awesome.
Okay, next week I can show you the item that you really need if you're going to work with audio, and that's the modulation meter and the scope. And that'll tell you right away if you are driving the microphone a little bit too hard, or if you've got an audio mismatch, or if you have that wrong amplifying device. Sometimes sweep tubes and transistors, when they're not happy, can do really, really bad things to your audio. All right, the Old Tube Radio Network, where are the jingle singers? They're saying they want to get out of here, so here they go.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final totals, I hadn't really added everything up, but looking at it now, it looks as though, thanks to a run late on, that the Browning Laboratories tonight might be the most heard manufacturer, although we did have a couple of Robins and a couple of Hallicrafters, or one Hallicrafters, Courier. Well, we'll go through the list. 63 SWL tonight, 12 on page 1, 16 on page 2, 17 on page 3, and 18 on page 4, for a total of 63, and then looks like we had 14 radios. Started off with the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Mr. Ed on that, getting that one in early when the getting was good on the receive side. The Courier 23 was the radio that Cliff brought by tonight. Radio number 2 sounding very nice. Radio number 3, Paul on the Hallicrafter CB1 with the EV727 microphone. I'm going to go back and listen to that. That, for a radio that just looks so common and plain, really, really nice audio. Simple is good back in 1959. That's the way they wanted to make the Citizen Class D radio service. Radio number 4, the General Radio Telephone MC5 from Jerry. Radio number 6 tonight, Chris on the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. We followed that with Radio 7, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68 from Browning Laboratories. Radio number 8 was Chris on the Courier Royale. A couple of Couriers tonight. So if we count JT's Courier, the Couriers might be the number 2 most heard radio on frequency tonight. The Robin T123 from Paul, watching the Magic Eye with great audio. Radio number 9. SWL 25, Jerry on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, followed by Radio 11, Monkey's uncle, Mark on his Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, giving us a total of 4 on the Brownings tonight. The Johnson Messenger 223, sounding good from Joe tonight. Really good audio, Joe. That could be a daily driver. If you get tired of the transistorized stuff, you can just pop that in. At least on the AM side. I don't know, it's not going to work too well on sideband, is it? But Radio 12 sounding good. Tom kicking in on the T123B Robin. Nice audio as well. The Robin's looking good in the audio tonight. And then Millerton Lake on the Yaesu FT401B. Finessing that microphonium cable. Trying to get on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. Well, that's the radios as I have it. There's still plenty of chocolate milk. I'm going to go take this, and it's really thick. I'm going to go pour it over some ice. I think the glass bottle is kind of a cool touch. So we'll get some chocolate milk. Thanks to SearchLawrence.com and Frodex for the Nixie tubes up and running. And, of course, thanks to all of you for keeping us on here in the Old Tube Radio Network for many, many, many years. Don't forget the sideband net, 8 o'clock Friday on Channel 36 Lower, 27,365. Everyone is welcome. Jeremy does a great job. I like all the technical stuff. Yeah, it's a pain, but sometimes you got to do it. Everyone's invited to even Skipland. And then Wednesday evenings on Armature Radio, for those of you who have the ticket at 28,445 upper sideband on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific time, Central Valley Net, and definitely looking for some out-of-town stations on that one as well. Should be good. And when the band is open, we have a great time on that one with lots of check-ins. So good night to all those listening and watching. Let me refresh the comments. I think we are doing good all the way around. So good night from the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thank you much, Dennis. Oh, Dennis, if you're still by there, what was that about Hornblower?
Oh, well, let me scroll back. Well, it wasn't good news, that's for sure, but someone had mentioned that he passed away, and I don't know when, but I'm going to say this week. And I don't know if it had anything to do with the current COVID-19 situation or not, but looks like we've lost Hornblower this week.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to research that. I know some of the guys are still around, and I'm going to get a hold of some of them. Okay, thank you, Dennis.
All right, thanks. Boy, I just scrolling through the comments here. There's a lot of things that I miss. As they scroll around, I think I said hello to everybody. All right, enough of me. Enough of this hippie guy with the seersucker suit. Good night, everybody. The antenna I have here is a very low to the ground Starduster. Over. Well, and it's just your lowly quarter wave, up and down ground plane, and it is low. I need to be up another 20 feet and to help my receive, but this is just Starduster up probably, I don't know, 25 feet or so. Yeah, well, believe it or not, when we first started OTR, that's where my location was, just down the street from the high school. I had a 55-foot tower, and I had a big stick at the top of the tower of the mast at about 70 feet. And I only needed to run 2 to 3 watts, and we were talking to the guys in Visalia with no problem. Yeah, and let's see, who was down the street from me? It was Frank. I think he went by Coax Cutter, and there was some other stations there. This would have been, I didn't get the station up and running until the early 80s back there.
Okay, I ran from 76 to 79, but I was on a Johnson 23, Little Tommy Johnson 23 CD.
Yeah, good stuff. That's sort of when I went unradioactive about that time, and I was still in college. I tried to hook up a radio in the dormitories. They wouldn't let me put up an antenna, so I made a stealthy one. I remember hearing some of the stations. I think they were called the Cutters, driving around there on channel 10 and 11. All right. Talk to you later. 73. And let's see. Ditchbanks. Going to try and check in my Comstat 25A. We'll be ready for that. All right. Good night, everybody. I'm going to drop the audio and the video before something blows up. I can't believe it hasn't blown up already. At least, well, the Facebook thing blew up, but I I didn't have high hopes for that. I'm not sure what the deal with that is. So back to normal next week unless I can figure it out. Good night. All right, let's figure out the video here. And then net control said 73.